What's up, everybody? Peter McKinnon here. Welcome back to yet another video. Today we're talking how to take your photo L's and turn them into photo dubs. It's your wins and losses, your photography losses, and turn them into photography wins. I should just grow up. Today I have 7 tips for you that I use all the time that are going to help you with your photography. They're gonna help you with your editing, with your posting, and with the overall vibe of your photography. And it centers around things that you thought were losses and making them wins. Turning your L's into W's, your photo L's into photo W's. Tip number 1, mistakes can end up being some of the best moments. They can't be replicated. You were going for one thing, you got something else. It was a natural occurrence. Embrace those. When you're going through Lightroom, you're culling through your photos, don't immediately delete or 1-star, or blow them off as fails. Those could be the very things that end up being your favorite. Could be in a couple days, weeks, months, years, but mistakes help you grow, and mistakes can sometimes be very unique. Tip number 2, things you didn't plan for end up being the most raw and unfiltered moments you could possibly capture. Those go hand in hand with mistakes. That's tip number 1 and 2 together. You can put together a beautiful photo shoot. We've talked about that before, making photos versus taking photos. But sometimes it's in the unplanned, the unforeseen. It's in between the lines. These moments happen that you had no idea were coming, and if you're ready to capture them, and you can, those end up being truly meaningful photographs. That is exactly what we do. We're documentarians. We capture and document and share life and feelings and everything around us, and sometimes that stuff just can't be planned. All right, tip number 3, let's talk out of focus photos for a second. These photos, where you would typically just delete it because you missed focus, these can be turned into assets. Never overlook an out of focus photo. Subpoint, there are tools out there now that can actually sharpen these photos to the point where they're passable or usable. But if you didn't want to do that, there's still so many different applications for an out of focus photo that I think would work for you. There's also something just kind of cool about an out of focus photo. When you post it, it seems intentional. If you look at it not as a mistake and maybe as just like a piece of art or a cool visual or something that you can use to tell a story, now we've got a new light shining on that. I see a lot of new photographers focusing heavily on bokeh. They want fast apertures, really wide open lenses, blurring everything in the background. But the second one thing gets a little blurry, it's garbage photo. But motion blur, soft focus, sometimes entirely out of focus, those moments can be really beautiful and really special. I'm gonna dive into this more in a minute. I'm gonna show you some examples in Lightroom. That's tip number 3, but hang on to that for a minute. And thank you Squarespace for sponsoring this video. What do you do with all these photos after you've posted them and you don't know what to do and they've been archived? You put them on a website. You make a portfolio, you make a shop, a place for people to buy your prints and photo assets, a place for you to post your photos that you just shot for a client, password protected, a gallery that only they can see. All of these things are made possible that you can have up and running in a matter of one day. So instead of browsing the internet today and getting stuck in that infinite doom scroll, make a website and save some money while you're at it. I put a link in my description, it'll get you 10% off. So if you've never used Squarespace, click that link. It's immediately cheaper and you don't have to have any skills or knowledge when it comes to web design. It is the easiest all-in-one platform that currently exists. What you used to have to go to school for, which I did, I went to college for web design. Squarespace takes care of that entire degree in less than 24 hours. And a special shout out and thank you to Squarespace for continuing to sponsor this channel and allow me to do what I do. Number 4 is using your mistakes as pieces of work. Let's use Instagram and social media for example. You can use those mistake photos that you didn't mean to take or didn't work out the way you wanted to, and you can use them as spacers in between the photos that did work out if you were posting something like a carousel. So those little moments that were unplanned that you didn't think worked end up working for you to tell a bigger narrative when you post this piece to the internet. Like the previous tips mentioned, we're documentarians. Some are photojournalists, but we're trying to tell stories and we're trying to communicate feeling. This will all make sense at the end. I'm gonna bring it all together. Hang with me. Tip number 5, finding themes within past photographs. When I comb my archives, sometimes I identify something that I noticed as a pattern. For instance, here's my cowboy hat on a table. Here's my cowboy hat on another table. Here's my cowboy hat hanging over a fire. That seems to be a theme. Whenever I'm wearing this hat, I usually end up photographing it. So how can I take that and continue it into a little bit of a series to challenge myself? That's a theme and something I identified looking through past photos that I might not have known otherwise. Those things challenge us as photographers, gives us content to photograph, and could turn into something that you had no idea or were expecting. Maybe that series ends up defining you as a photographer. photographer. Maybe that is your defining series that turns into a photo book or a gallery or an exhibition. But these things and these trends can be found if you've been taking photos for a while. A lot of that info lies in the past. All right, tip number 6, taking photos that weren't great or out of focus or mistakes and using them as text overlays. Now this is something Short Stash taught me. If you don't follow Garrett on Instagram, I'll link him below. Amazing photographer, great friend. But he told me once, if he's got photos that are out of focus, photos that are a little bit abstract, sometimes he uses those for text overlays. More elements within a carousel to further tell a story, sell a product. You can get really weird with it, flip things upside down, blur them even more. But these things that you would typically not start or immediately delete and discard can be used as elements within your work. That can also start defining your work even more and opening up doors that you hadn't thought of before. The final tip, number 7, never delete your photos. Archive them if you don't want to see them, you don't want them taking up space, but never delete them. And even if you say, well, Pete, I never delete my photos, but I cull through all of them and pick the ones that I like, and then I archive those and delete the ones that are garbage. No, those ones could be working for you. Those ones could be earning you money. They could be getting you style points. They could be furthering your development as a photographer. Don't delete anything. Archive, find a good system, find a good organizational system, save those photos. They're small enough. With the storage options we have these days, there is no reason to delete your work. Let's take this photo right here of me sitting in a diner. Had it all lined up, didn't come out in focus. The color was kind of good. The exposure was okay. It was a little bit dark, but I thought to myself, how can I use this? I post to 2 accounts, Pete's Pirate Life and my main grid, Peter McKinnon. So when I'm thinking about what I'm gonna post, depending on what the color and what the mood and what the feel is, kind of decides where that photo's gonna go, which account. This one could probably go to either, but I wanted a way to make it unique. I really liked the photo, it looked cool, it kind of had a vibe to it, it incorporated the newspaper, the old diner, the cowboy hat, before I cut my hair off, which is almost back. It's just a cool photo, but it was very obviously out of focus. But how do I lean into that being out of focus? Well, I edited that photo as if it wasn't. I just totally blocked out the fact that it was a miss and treated it as a win. One of the things I like to do if I do have a photo that's out of focus, something that I think can save it a little bit and add some extra spice to that, is adding texture to a photo that's obviously blurry. And when I say texture, I specifically love adding overlays. This could be a crinkled paper overlay, dust and scratches, film grain, folded lines, anything to make that photo pop and be a little bit more creative. Film burns are a great idea, light leaks, all of the above. Then you get something that used to look like this, reframed with all those things added, that now looks like this. Now you might be wondering, how do you do that? Well, a lot of photographers and creatives offer these types of texture packs online, but I love to use an app called Afterlight. You can use Afterlight to add overlays, dust and particles, scratches, light leaks, all of these types of creative tools that I don't find you can use in Lightroom. And it's very easy to do. You can add them, change the opacity, add some halation, add some glow, really make these photos a little bit more unique, throw a border on it, share it, and then post it online. So personally, I love to use both Lightroom and Afterlight sometimes when I'm posting photos, but in this photo particularly, it was heavily edited within Afterlight. Now I think it's something that's a little bit more ready to post. Even though it's still blurry, it's got a richness to it. There's a style and a feel to that photo. When you see it, you can almost smell it. Like you can imagine being in that environment. And suddenly, the fact that it's out of focus is kind of forgotten, especially if it's within an Instagram carousel. So I also have photos of the newspaper itself, an actual film burn, my buddy putting syrup on his pancakes, the diner itself. So you could hide this photo within that series. You could make it the hero photo if you wanted, but now within that series, the fact that it's out of focus is overlooked even more so because there's other things around it. It's kind of like magic, it's misdirection. But this photo is working for me. It's working for me in multiple ways now, and that's just because I didn't delete it and I gave it a shot. There are no rules. Take all of this with a grain of salt. Do whatever you want. That's the thing. Out of focus, upside down, sideways, stretched. I think the weirder you get with things, the better things become. It's breaking those societal norms, the rule of thirds. Sharp photos. Everything has to be in compartments. It can only be this way, color within the lines. The hell with all of that. Do whatever you want. If you delete your photos, you can't do whatever you want. All right, so that's it for me, guys. Take those half-baked ideas, take those half-baked photo shoot ideas, get out there, make some photos happen. Take them, create them, don't delete them, and then see what you can get. You don't only have to post bangers. Photos of all kinds. Just focus on capturing a moment that's unique and special to you. And if it's special and unique to you, it's worth sharing. Follow these tips, subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content like this around photo and video. Hit that like button if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Ready? Like the old days.